What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode. Excuse me. Jeez, I knew I was going to do it. I knew I was going to butcher it, James. I knew I was going to do it. Welcome to another episode of Digging Deeper with special guest Bryan Wilder, co-host James. How we doing, everybody? Anyways, how are you doing, Bryan? How are you doing, James?
Doing excellent, bro. Doing excellent.
Great. Doing great.
Good deal. I'm a little rusty at this, man. Doing the podcast every single week, man. I was set in stone. Now that we're doing it bi-monthly, it's a whole different ballgame.
Week. That's all there is to
it. All right. So let's go ahead and start the podcast off like we always do with the most famous question. Mr. Bryan, how the hell did you get into the gold prospecting and mining community, my man?
Man, yeah, that was a long time ago. Around maybe 2010, 11, 12, somewhere around there. I'm just a big avid outdoors person. I'm always outside. So I think when I really started looking into it, I was just sitting on a hunting stand up in a tree looking at a river. And, you could look down there and you see, it was mica, but, it was like golden mica. I'm like, I wonder if there's any gold around here. I don't know, just some crazy idea I had. And then I just went on Amazon or eBay, whatever it was at the time, and grabbed just a $5 gold pan and went over and, watching YouTube videos how to pan and tried it. And of course, nothing. I'm living in central Massachusetts, so there's no gold here. But, I thought it was fun, another thing to do. So, I just was like, oh, geez, this kind of could be cool. I wonder where there is gold. And I did a YouTube search, and around my area, the best place to go was up in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Has some decent gold. But panning got boring really quick. Next thing, I bought a sluice in the wintertime, so everything was frozen. But I did buy that Keen A52 sluice, so I'm like, I can't wait to use this in the spring. But just sitting around looking at it, I'm like, you know what? Let's go bigger. So I took that Keen A51 and I made like a hopper for it, and I bought a pump, and I made it into like a little homemade 3-inch dredge. And at that time, I really didn't even know what a dredge was. I didn't even know they existed, like the floating ones, because we don't have them for sale there or anything like that. And I knew nothing about the gold mining community, right? I was just doing all this on my own. No one told me anything. I had no gold mining friends or nothing. And I put together this little crappy high banker dredge combo thing, and I took that up to New Hampshire, Maine, and I started getting little bits of gold. I'm like, this is freaking sick. And then while I was there, I did meet people who had 4-inch dredges. 4 inches the max around this area. So meeting people in the river, I started, when I go in the river, start meeting people, you talk and make friends, and, you start getting online communities kind of stuff. You're doing all that, you're making friends at the river. And I'm like, wow, I want a 4-inch dredge. So the next season I bought a 4-inch, and, I pretty much did that for, I still do it. So I've been doing that for, 10 years or whatever. And just has been, just a great time just going to the river on the weekends and stuff. And
that's crazy, man. That's absolutely crazy. So you started with the Keen, the most famous sluice that most people I would like to say start out with.
Yeah.
And you're like, the hell with this. I'm gonna freaking make this thing a monster. I'm going to be able to run way more material much quicker. So you were already off the bat. You were ready to freaking go to town. Like you were like,
Sounds familiar.
I mean, I never used that sluice box as a sluice box. I bought it brand new with the intent to use it like a sluice box in the river. Cause I did panning a few times. Like, this is not for me. But I figured the sluice box, I can move 10 times more material, but then, I'm like, well, if I can turn the sluice box into like a high banker thing, I can move 100 times more material.
That's crazy. So
I kind of went from panning right to a 3-inch dredge, basically like a homemade thing. And then right after that, I bought a 4-inch dredge. And
that's insane.
Now I got like 4-inch dredges. I got a 3-inch dredge. I got a 6-inch dredge, a 5-inch. So the next question is, do you still have that monster high banker? Yeah, actually I do. It's all I still carry the sluice box around in case I actually 10 years later, I've still never used it as a sluice box. My favorite sluice box to use is like those like the La Trappe or the Angus McCurk. Because they have multi-purpose for me. Like if you do use it as a sluice box, it's super easy to clean out. There's no mats. But the A51's got a lot of mats and stuff you got to take apart and clean and rinse. But like the Angus or the La Trappe, cheap little plastic sluice, they fit great in your backpack. They're light. But the biggest reason why I like using them is because when I do my dredge clean out, so I clean my dredge out, put them in a bucket, And usually I'm pretty far away. I'm up in a mountain, valley or something. I got to climb mountains and get back to camp. Whatever. So we'll just take our cons for the day, put them in a bucket, put that sluice right inside our sluice box on the dredge, and then just dump that into there because it's a perfect steady flow. You just turn the motor down to like an idle,
Right.
And dump all your cons in there, and now you only have like a little, 2-3 cups of material that you got to bring back to camp. So,
Jeez, that is insane.
Concentrated.
So we got to go back just a skosh here. So once you built this Frankenstein high banker, I'm sure you used it a time or two. Realized, I want to go to dredging. I'm not doing this anymore. Got yourself a 4-inch. I'm sure you did plenty of research to, before you brought the dredge to a place to be able to dredge. That first time dredging, how was it? Were you just freaking gung ho? Was it a big failure? Was it a big success? Kind of like, what happened?
it was just freaking awesome. So the first time I dredged was with that little Frankenstein 3-inch thing, and then I just dredged down in a hole like 3 inches. I think it was like 3 feet to clay or whatever. And as soon as I hit the clay, and I'm down there with the mask on and stuff, and I'm looking down on the clay, and I start seeing little pickers down there. I'm like, wow, this is absolutely fantastic, because I never would have imagined. I mean,
Wow.
I was probably only getting like maybe half a gram to a gram a day or whatever. But I mean, it was super, super cool to, just go down there and actually start seeing it like in its natural state before you up with, and you start picking them off the bottom of the clay layer. It's pretty cool. We're talking little tiny pickers or whatever, but
and
So
exciting. And then I figured since it's a 3-inch, if I got a 4-inch, I'm always wanting to go bigger. I'm constantly just go bigger, go to the max, of what I can afford and do. And
what you can do. Yeah, no, definitely. That's crazy. So, you got down to that clay layer, you started finding pickers. And in the meantime, this was kind of like a weekend deal, right? You probably had a different job that you've been at for however long. And during the weekends, you look forward to the weekends, get over there, get dredging. So for, however many years, when did you finally decide, hey, you know what, I can actually make this a full-time gig. I can actually quit what I'm doing, which I'm sure as many know, we don't like our full-time jobs.
Actually, I've been a chef for like 23 years, ever since I was 15 years old. I started a restaurant. With a school program. So actually, I was a bad kid. They didn't let me like actually go to school for like the whole day. So I was on this program where I did a half a day of school. But it was, starting in high school. So I did a half a day of high school, and then when we were on, they took us to local restaurants, and we worked in the restaurant. It was like this working program thing for, it was like me and maybe 20 other kids that, like before there was like Ritalin or ADD medicine, whatever it was. I don't know. I was just labeled as one of those kids who just couldn't handle school, or just, I was always in trouble. So they figured started this work program. So that's what I got onto that work program. So when I was 15, I did really good during the day, and then they hired me after school. So I got a job when I was like 15 working in professional restaurants. And actually, by the time I was, I think it was 23, I was in charge of that damn place. Second in charge.
Holy shit. Wow.
Like 21, I was a sous chef, and the sous chef is the second chef. He's in charge of everyone. And everyone in this place went to like college, spent $50,000 for a culinary degree or whatever. And I was second in charge, never been to college. I barely even went to high school because I only did half days.
Right. And you took initiative. Holy crap.
So by the time I was 23, I was executive chef. The guy left, and I was in charge of this whole damn place. And
wow.
It's called the White Cliffs in Northborough, Mass. It's actually Mr. Wesson's from Smith & Wesson Firearms. So it's Mr. Wesson. This was his summer house. And it's a big, huge Victorian mansion. We did really elegant weddings and stuff like that. So when I was doing that, I was busy all the weekends doing weddings and stuff. So my days off were actually like Monday and Tuesday. So when I went to the river, usually there was barely anyone there. I was kind of always
perfect timing
all by myself. There'd be some people vacationing for the week or whatever that I would hook up with. But for the most part, I went to the river. The river was open. No one's around. Kind of did my own thing. And let's see, probably I worked for the same company until just maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And the wedding business kind of like dropped off a cliff because people have so much like all the kids today, they go to college or whatever, and then they come out with $100,000 loans that they can't afford, and the girlfriend So I mean, they're in debt when people get married nowadays with like 200 grand with the husband and wife. So a lot of these people aren't having like really fancy, elegant weddings anymore. And business kind of closed the doors like 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a break and just go find gold for a while. Because I mean, I worked my ass off for 23 years or whatever it was. I mean, I was working 80 hours a week a lot of times and just missed all holidays and
That's
and
brutal,
weekends.
man.
Yeah, just being a chef. I mean, you work every weekend, you work all the holidays because, like, Christmas parties and this time of year, Christmas parties is insane. So, I mean, you're lucky if you even have Christmas off because you usually got to go and do, I don't know.
Yeah, the hospitality industry does not stop. It's not like the postal service where they close or a bank. The hospitality industry is 365 days a freaking year. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely. They laid me off because they closed the door. So I just went full time maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I just kind of went up to New Hampshire and Maine and Vermont and just prospected all summer long. And then I bought a brand new Dodge Ram and I took it from Massachusetts to Arizona for the winter time. And in there, and when I hit Arizona, I would just stay there for like 3 months during the winter and metal detect. And I got a chance to go up on top of Rich Hill. It's a very famous spot in the Weaver district. I went up there with a guy named Toby. We went through like 3 locked gates to get to this place, but insane metal. It's crazy. It was crazy up there. That's a whole different story. I got videos of it on my YouTube, but right below that, there's called Weaver Creek. I did some dredging down in Weaver Creek. So in the wintertime, I headed over to Arizona. And then, so by doing the YouTube thing, people recognize me. I started getting a following, whatever. And then, all the big guys, they all watch that. My first thing for TV was actually Fred Hurt called me. He called me directly on the phone.
wow.
I didn't contact him. I had no idea. So one day a phone rang and he's like, "Hey, Bryan, how's it going?" And I heard that voice. I'm like, this is Fred Hurt. He's like, "Hey, Fred Hurt." I'm like, "Oh shit, no way." And the first I'm like, I think it's one of my buddies playing a joke or something. And then, we've talked for like a half an hour on the phone. And then finally he's like, "Hey, the reason why I called you is because I want you to come join my team." So that was like 2 years ago, whatever. But I did all the interviews and all this stuff. I mean, we can go into depth about it, but it didn't work out. And then just the year after, Vernon got a hold of me and went up to the Gnome. So
that's absolutely insane. I mean, holy shit. The life journey you've had from being top executive chef to dredger in frickin' Nome, Alaska, man. Holy shit, what a change.
Yeah, pretty
Talk
crazy.
about a U-turn, huh?
Holy shit.
I mean, it's kind of scary, like just making such big changes, but because everyone's in their normal everyday life. You go to work, you do this, you do that, and then all of a sudden you get these opportunities, and it's kind of scary at first.
Terrifying.
But, you just got to break your daily schedule and just shoot for something, go for it. I know people need hard paychecks every week to make it, but
well, and that's the thing is like we were talking with Fred Dickinson, and I'm sure you know who Fred is. Freaking awesome dude, absolutely phenomenal guy. We were talking with him. We had him on the podcast, and it was basically the same thing that happened with him. Was him and his wife had their own jobs, their own main jobs, their own main careers, and things took a turn for the worst. And they both ended up losing their jobs. And in the meantime, Fred had bought a claim that he was messing around on the weekends with his son. And when all this happened, Fred's like, well, shit, I'm going to take a leap and I'm going to do this full time. Well, here we are today, with the Dickinson claims over there and what Fred's doing, It's absolutely crazy. Like you said, you got to break out of your shell and actually do it. And honestly, I'm too much of a chicken shit myself to break away from that steady paycheck. Everybody is so used to the steady income.
It hurt, but I'm still trying.
Yeah.
Jared,
well,
take that because spring.
Yeah.
So yeah, once I got laid off, I do have other income, like working all this time. I actually bought a rental property, a 3-family house, and I don't live in it. I just rent it out. So I always did have like money coming in. So
Right.
actually, completely stopped working. I was only going to stop working for like a year or two and just take, because I worked just so much, and my whole life was just work, you know. And I just wanted to take a year or two off and actually just go prospect, relax, and then go find another job. But just as when I was out there prospecting, I'm like, oh, this is sick. This is awesome, you know.
You guys know what this is.
Yeah. No, I definitely got hooked. So, yeah, I mean, I did have some other money coming in, so that allowed me to kind of like not get a job right away. You know, I could go out.
Right. You could kind of relax a bit, go out and enjoy yourself, for a year or so. And
plus, I'm not married. I don't got kids, so I don't have like zero responsibility that way. So I could just do.
He's like I have zero responsibilities. Yeah. I'm gonna do what I want. No,
no, exactly. That's true. Like so when these guys call, like I was ready to go in a heartbeat.
Boom. Yep. No, so the thing is that we wanted to talk about now that we're on the subject was the whole transition. So the hospitality industry. You being executive chef. And then hosting the weddings and stuff like that, it dwindled down. You decided to start going up, doing the metal detecting, doing the dredging. When did you honestly decide, what, I'm going to do this full time. I'm not going to look back anymore. I'm not doing it just on weekends, just this month or that month. I want to do it full time and go from there.
Well, actually it chose me. I never really had, decision to go full time. Like I just got offers, like, and I'm like, oh well, heck, I'll do it. Like what was it, last year? So last year is probably the first time I did it like completely full time. So that started off with so I do a lot of dredging here, and like I went, instead of the weekends, I'll be doing like 2 weeks at a time up in like New Hampshire and Maine or whatever, and going with friends. We found some pretty sick gold, like a couple of the biggest ones that I'll go here. I'll show you. But
yes, please. I was finding
an 8.6 grammer, and then I found a 9.4, wow. And then 9.6 grammer. So I mean, we're getting some pretty decent gold here in New England. It's just
wow.
Kind of a secret spot, but no one knows about it, and so I was kind of hammering that at first. And so I'm pulling up some pretty decent nuggets, some pickers, and some decent gold for the area. I definitely couldn't make a living on it, but if I worked hard, I was probably getting an ounce or two, per month or whatever. If I worked really hard, you can't live up, but it was fun. I was having a blast just being out in the middle of the woods doing that. And while I was doing that, though, I'm making YouTube videos, and just like I had no plans to do anything big or anything like that. I was just out in the woods having fun with, I would have a couple buddies come with me. We would be out in the middle of the woods having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Doing all that thing. And just making the YouTube videos, like I said, people started calling me. So, like, I got the opportunity with Fred, but, that fell through. And then next was Vernon. So 2 years ago when I went full-time, it was actually, so I went to this, so let me see, last year, so 2 years ago, whatever it was, one of my buddies, Jim Hamilton, he was on the AMRA board there.
Yep.
He's like, hey, dude, you got to come up to Chicken, Alaska. There's this camp called Gold Fever Prospecting. There's a train coming by, so it might be loud. But so anyways, we went up to Chicken, Alaska, and they have 6-inch dredges that I think it was like $4,000 or $3,800 for 10 days or whatever. But most of the people, when they go, they find, that much in gold, and you get to keep everything you have. So it's not a huge, I mean, not guaranteed to find gold, but if you spend $4,000, you might get $4,000 back. So he's like, just go for it. And that's the kind of thing, breaking out of your shell is like, I don't know, I've never been on a plane really, I never was working all the time. I'm always here in Massachusetts and kind of comfortable being here. I never really traveled too much. So going to Alaska and spending $4,000 for this trip was like a big thing for me.
Holy shit. Yeah. That, man,
he actually, when I was in the car with him, he actually called the number. I didn't know. And he was talking to someone on the phone. And all of a sudden he hands me the phone, and the lady's, okay, so I heard you want to go. So what's your credit card number? I'm like, who is this? I don't even know who this is. Well, my credit card. And she's like, oh, this is Ginger from Gold Fever. Jim said you're coming up this. Oh, my God.
Oh, shit.
I had just put out my credit card, and I gave it to her, and boom, I was booked. So when that trip came up, I went on that trip, and I was there with Jim Hamilton, and Wandering Buffaloes were there, and Don from there, so some people I kind of knew. So yeah, I went to Alaska and I did that trip. But the owners were watching me, because they have they have kind of like two things to the business. They got their customer side, which is just 6-inch dredges, and the campers, customers.
Yeah.
Then they have a commercial side, and on the commercial side, they got an 8-inch dredge, and then they got a 10-inch dredge. So when I was there, Jim was working on the commercial side, and he was doing all that. And when I went as a customer, and they watched me dredge and all this, that, and the other thing. And then they're like, hey, we love the way you dredge. You should come work for us on our commercial side. And then, so that's kind of how I started doing that. And
holy shit.
So they wanted me for the next year to come work on the commercial side, which was this year, past summer. So when I came on that side, they actually that's when Vernon called. No, it was 2 years ago. So anyway, I wanted to go work for them, but they wanted me full time. I'm like, well, fucking Vernon just called me from Bering Sea Gould. He wants me to go up there for the summer. So I was like, I'll tell you what, I'll dredge in June for you, and then right after June, I'm gonna go try Nome and see what that's all. I didn't think I was gonna last because Vernon's always yelling and screaming. So
Vern, yeah.
So I'm like, I'll dredge for you guys for a month on the 10-inch dredge, and I'll go try Nome and see how that is. And then I was like, I'm sure I'll be back because I don't think it'll work out. So, but it actually worked out, and I was there.
That's freaking crazy.
That was season 1. So that was what, last year? That was last year, not this year.
Yeah. That is absolutely crazy, man. I mean, I'm still in shock and awe with the situation at hand. I mean, here you are over in your home state, executive chef, kicking ass, taking names, getting weddings done. I mean, working 80 hours a week, doing everything you can possible, no free time to yourself, to boom, now you're a full-time dredger going over to Nome. That is just absolutely remarkable, man.
The whole thing is just you got to work hard and let people recognize you. Like a lot of people always like think of Vernon. Like how many people just message him all the time. Oh, I'm such a good dredger. I'll work hard for you. But I mean, nobody knows who you are and stuff. I got kind of recognized just if you work hard, then show it. Make YouTube videos and make Facebook videos of you going out to your mine and finding gold. I mean, that's what people want. Like these bigger guys, they want people not. Everyone says they work hard and they're the best dredger or whatever, and
the proof is in the pudding. And when you actually, when you actually,
instead of you forcing yourself on other people, and that's exactly how it worked for me. I mean, like I said, I got all types of people working for wanted me. And then this year when I left Nome, I have 6 job offers right now that are like really good job offers just because I'm working in Nome. Not just, I mean, one of the things like Emily really wanted me for this upcoming season, and 2 other guys want me to run their 10-inch dredge and captain it next season up in Nome. And I got another guy with this big, he built this huge, gigantic dredge up all summer long last year.
Wow.
In his team, and then Chicken wants me to work for them for full time. I got a lot of job opportunities coming up. I mean, just by being myself and just working and finding gold, and
that's what it is. It's hard work, man. Hard work pays off, and people see it. People see the hard work, the dedication. That's what pays off. It's not how many views you get. It's not you trying to gain people's attention. It's basically you doing what you love and what you have a passion for. And people seeing that, and that's fucking absolutely phenomenal, man. I mean, on the topic with Vern, I mean, we obviously have all seen, what the media shows Vern, but what the media shows about Vern. But I'm sure Vern's a freaking pretty stand-up dude, down to earth. I mean, no bullshit kind of guy, right?
Right. No, I mean, he's a really great guy. Like there's a lot of people who live on the beach and, they're cold and freaking, I guess they're homeless kind of, but I mean, I've seen them offer people those diesel generator or diesel heaters, to heat their tents, and, a whole bunch. He's like super generous, super kind. He buys people food, goes out to dinner, which up in Nome is like a hamburger is like $29 for a damn hamburger. A beer is $9.
That's crazy.
Super generous. So on the last season, we just finished up. Like we didn't hit the gold really all too hot. It was Noam's record stormy year. I'm not sure how they're going to play it or whatever on the TV thing, but we didn't go out very much last year. Not just us; it was the whole crew barely went out. So Vern gave us all the gold we found. I don't know if they're going to shoot the thing, but all of our cleanouts he gave to all the workers. He didn't keep any of the gold last year. He's a super generous guy. It just, if you screw up, he yells at you. He's just like an old school kind of guy. If you get yelled at, usually you deserve it. And I get yelled at. I mean, I know his attitude or whatever. If I do something stupid, yell at me. If I did something wrong, I don't take it. I let it in and out. I don't like hold it against.
Hold on to it. Hold a grudge, and that's.
But I mean, he's allowed to yell because he finances everything. That's his boat, all of his equipment. All of his. I mean, it's all his stuff. And he gave me a house, so I stayed on that boat all summer. I actually lived on the boat, so I had a free place to stay. He gave me a car, so I had a car to drive around in, a four-wheeler. When we didn't go out, he let me use all of his beach equipment so I can go out beach mining. And I found multiple ounces just there on the beach, just on my days off, just waiting for the storms to pass.
Yeah, I saw one of the videos. Yeah.
Brennan's a great guy. Yeah, he yells, but you got to be able to take it. I mean,
take it. Well, and
just like have their pride so high, and they just yell back, and then we wind up getting fired or thrown off. I've seen him do it with a lot of camera guys. He threw off a couple camera guys because they're being stupid or whatever.
He seems like a really awesome guy. I mean, when you see something on TV versus when you actually personally meet somebody face to face, it's literally night and day. It really is, because at the end of the day, the TV shows need viewers. I mean, let's be honest here. They need viewers. They need people watching the TV, sucked on the TV screen. And that way they can continue to fund the next season and the next season and so on and so forth. But to me, it seems like Vern's just one of those guys where he's a take no shit kind of guy. Hey, you do your job and you do it well, then I'm not going to bother you. Yeah. But if you're doing something stupid or you're late or this or that or the other, then he has every right to yell at you. It's just the way the world works.
Like he yelled a lot at me about like boating kind of stuff. I mean, he's been a ship captain his whole life. He actually drove like the Exxon Valdez, that huge
holy
tanker.
Shit.
After the crash, it got renamed or whatever, and it got transferred somewhere else. But anyway, he drove that boat. He drives all those big super tankers and cargo ships, and actually like Navy Argus cruisers and stuff like that. He will pilot those when they come into harbor. So, he's a really knowledgeable seaman guy and, boating kind of guy. But like when I went there, I'm not as big of a boating guy. So like when we pull up the dock and tie knots and, use cleats, I don't know what the frick I'm doing. Trying to do this. Like, God damn it, start yelling at me about tying the freaking boat up. I'm like, I don't freaking know what you showed me.
I know how to tie my shoes, and that's all I need to know.
So when you hop on like a boat to dredge, I've never been on boats really, so I mean I didn't know much boating kind of information, and it was boating like a crash course, So my knowledge was dredging, not and then dredging in the ocean's a whole different freaking ball game than it is dredging in a river. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have the stability of the actual ground right next to you 15 feet away or 10 feet away. When you're getting on a boat and you're going out, 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, maybe more, maybe less, that's a whole different ball game, because now you're dealing with weather that changes on a dime. You're dealing with possible malfunctions. You could be at many, many different depths,
climbing the hose to get back up. Come on.
Dude, that's crazy. Especially there's so many times I ran out of air because of stupid freaking problems. But yeah, you're trying to go up the hose in a big rush. You don't know what's going on. You can feel the air coming. You got one, like trying to pull the air out of there.
Holy shit!
I've had several close calls, and not only that, the pressure on you when you're working down. Usually, we hung around 25 to 30 feet is where our claim was, where we got old. So, but I mean, just being down there for 4 or 5 hours at a time, just the pressure just pounds on you. You can just feel it after a while, and it's just so much
squeezing
pressure.
You. Yeah.
And then every time I came up, usually there was blood pouring out of my nose and my ears and my freaking mouth. I mean, just snot, just blood coming out. I mean, it just crushes, So it's a whole different.
You're going like a whole atmospheric level every 15 feet.
Yeah.
No, it's 32 feet, I think, is the limit for one.
So it doubles right at 30.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much why that's the end zone for like top feed air. Anything past that.
Yeah, you get in danger after 32 feet, but so we're usually 25 to 30 feet. So a lot of times, if you're at 30 feet, then you dredge a 3-foot hole into the overburden, and then the tide comes in, and then on top of that, you got waves coming up. I mean, next thing you know, you're at 35 feet, so you're over that boundary. And there was one time where actually I came up and I got like a mild case of the bends, and I just started getting tunnel vision, and everything was going black, and I was seconds to being passed out, and you could just feel something's not right, and it was just like crazy. And finally, after a couple of minutes, I got my vision back and got back to normal. I didn't tell anyone, but
damn,
my diving buddy Gary Simpson. So me and him were the main divers on the boat. But Gary, the year before, he got officially bent. He had to take a plane and fly into Seattle and get in the Iron Lung thing on Vernon's boat there. So his problem was he was down like 4 or 5 hours at 30 feet or whatever it was, and the air intakes. So you got the air intake coming off into the air compressor. There's like this little thing. Well, the rubber flapper got like messed up or whatever and blocked off,
clogged
the air intake. So he just ran out of air and he just shot up like a rocket because he was just nothing.
Oh yeah, you freak out.
30 feet. I mean, think of a swimming pool. Swimming pool's like 8 feet or whatever. So I mean, think of like 4 swimming pools like above you.
Oh fuck yeah, that's
not only that, you have 100 pounds of lead on you, or 80 pounds of lead strapped on you, and then you just go like that.
Fuck.
And so he shot up and like a rocket, but yeah, he got bent. He started passing out and getting all messed up. So actually, they flew him on a Learjet plane at 3,000 feet. You got to get special clearance from all the airports. Fly that low because he couldn't go up higher. They had to keep him at 3,000 feet. So they hired a Learjet and flew him all the way to Seattle. Was the closest place that they had at Ben's place.
Yeah. Wow. Holy shit.
It does happen.
And that's kind of what we wanted to talk about. Now that we're on the topic of working for Vern, is the whole dredging thing. So you went from dredging rivers to your very first time going up there putting a suit on. How the hell did you feel when he said, "Get in there, time to go"? How was that feeling, man?
Yeah, kind of crazy. The worst thing is you got so many eyes on you. It wasn't just Vernon's eyes on me. Now there's a camera guy inside the boat. Okay, so then they got the camera people have their own boat with this big, huge camera that's on those angles, but it's intimidating looking. And then you look to your right, there's a drone in the sky. You look to your left, there's another drone in the sky. And then I'm looking into the water, and then they got a camera. They got a camera diver with this big, huge camera just waiting. And all these people, all they're doing is just waiting for you to fail.
Waiting for you, yeah.
So, I mean, the first time was terrifying because you got all these people watching, and all they want you to do is freak out. And believe it or not, 90% of the people, we had a lot of people come and go, and the people like really great dredgers, and they dredged all their life or whatever. But as soon as you get into that water and you go down the ladder and you grab into the hose, you're just looking down. You can't see the bottom. It's just like the sea of green, and you can only see a couple feet. And then you're going down and down and down, and you got like tunnel vision, and it's hard breathing. It's not like easy breathing. The way the system is, you got to kind of pull the air. It's just so freaky. And like everyone panics. Like we had to pull person after person up. Like they freak out. They just can't handle it. And you start like breathing so hard that you start hyperventilating because you can't breathe like normal. You gotta calm down. You gotta breathe slow and
can't panic. Yeah,
you can't. And then once you start losing your air, that's when everyone just freaks and we have to pull them up. And they probably thought that's what I was gonna do, but and I started to because it wasn't just the dredging; it was just all everyone watching you. And
the pressure. You not only had pressure of the you not only had pressure of the water on you. You had pressure of Vernon. You had pressure of the camera crew. Yeah. I mean, holy shit! Just
such an unnatural feeling jumping out of the boat in the ocean. You're not in like a pond or a lake or a river. You're in the ocean. The waves are coming up. There's currents. So you're trying to get on the hose. It's not just like an easy ride down the hose. The currents are smashing you. The waves are smashing you. The boat's going up and down. The hose is going up and down. Like this.
Damn!
I mean,
dude.
it's just so much more than like in like a river dredging,
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you're trying to do that, and then you're freaking out, and you just see this big, huge camera in your face, trying to get. Not only that, so all the cameras on the mask itself, so your umbilical is gigantic coming out because you got hot water, you got air, you got camera lines, comm lines, you got so where all that stuff hooks up to the mask, your mask is like twisted because it's so heavy.
So it's pulling on you.
Right, and you have like this huge like rope kind of thing on you, so it's always pulling your mask. So you're trying to adjust your mask because it starts leaking on you, and and remember you're weighing all this lead too, so you're trying to drop like a rock. So if there is a problem, the mask starts leaking too much, you're falling to the ground. It's just such an unnatural feeling. It's freaky. It is. But once you get past all that, I mean, you got to be nuts to go in the ocean and do this. Like where you're.
So you're basically talking about yourself is what you're doing.
Like everyone in Nome, they're crazy. So I guess I'm one of them.
Oh Jesus! Well, we got a special guest that wants to jump on and give you some shit, Bryan. So everybody, welcome Shannon Poe to the podcast. What up, Shannon?
What's up, Stockton Barbie?
Oh. Yeah, that was my trophy.
Do you have that with you? You got to show these guys.
No, someone took it when I left. I put it in one of the Amber boxes. I think it's in your trailer. It's in one of the Amber boxes.
Oh, you know what? Don really took a liking to that. So I'll have to check his truck.
Yeah, I checked Don's.
Did you guys see that though?
Oh yeah, yep. I saw it.
Matt McAuliffe, he spent like 30 minutes on Stockton Barbie and Fairgrounds Lodi Barbie. So
spent too much time on
it. And so did Bryan. That was funny as shit, man.
That was like spot on too, because when I went out to see what the town was like, it was spot on.
You didn't even know at the time. I went and so when you got your tickets, I was totally shoulder surfing you, and I was writing your ticket numbers down. I did the same thing for JD, so it worked flawlessly. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where are you at, man?
Right now I'm in Mass, just hanging here till Christmas, and I might be going back up to Nome in February. I'm just waiting for a phone call, see what's going on.
Oh, are you gonna do a little under the water, under the ice?
No. I might be working for the TV guys, just helping them do the ice thing.
Oh, okay. What are they doing? Like gnome porn or something now? Is that?
No, they just need an extra hand, and so I'll be drilling like the ice holes and getting the ice holes out for their divers and all that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, going there in the wintertime to dredge is actually not really worth it. All the people that I know, the only people that make money is doing the TV thing. So.
Oh yeah.
There's just so much bad weather. The storms come, and it's just like it depends on the weather. But 90% of the times, you won't make much money dredging in the wintertime up there.
Yeah,
just because there's so much problems. Like they're all diesel motors, and getting diesel motors started at like -20, and your sluice box is just frozen solid every morning. Everything's just frozen.
Everything's a pain in the ass.
All the condensation in your airlines. So a lot of the divers, they run out of air because there's constantly water in your airlines, and then it freezes, and the divers run out of air, so you pop up, and
we were in a really good spot not too far from here, and this was, of course, when it's illegal to dredge in California. Well, screw that anyway. But anyway, same thing. So we were in this really big hot spot, and we were pulling out like really good-sized nuggets. One of them was the size of a golf ball with a fork. But it was 17 degrees out, and we would have to hike in there. We're running 7 mil wetsuits before we got our dry suits, and so you had about 30 minutes. You get in the water, and by the time 30 minutes goes by, you're completely going freaking iced out, and yeah. But anyway, so what we figured out is if you got some of those little hand warmers that you shake up and stuff, because our airline kept freezing up, just like what you say. So we built this little box with all these little holes so it would suck warm air in there, and it would keep the airline thawed out for about probably 20 minutes, and then it would ice up, and then you'd go full freaking hypo, and you'd have to come out. But yeah, gosh, I don't miss those days at all.
Yeah.
But, no, we run dry suits, so we don't have to dredge in anything deeper than 6 feet anymore. You know?
That's what I still like 6 feet. Screw this 30.
We're getting a hell of a lot of rain right now. We're supposed to start getting snow up there tomorrow night, and then it's going to snow for probably 4 or 5 days. They're predicting a foot up at the mine and a foot up at my shop. But, dude, when you were here, you should have came up. We should have had you up there for a while.
Yeah, should have. Yeah, damn, that would have been really fun.
Yeah. We took Debbie and Kevin up there for one day, and heck, I don't know. We found quite a bit of stuff, but we ended up slabbing off some of that stuff. You probably have seen some of the pictures, man.
Yeah,
this stuff was gorgeous.
That's really nice looking stuff.
Yeah. What the hell you been doing, Jaron?
Oh man, just trying to get shit done around here. A million things going every single day. Trying to do as much as I can with PB and with podcasting and all that good stuff. Kind of going apeshit crazy with no freaking dirt to run, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, the hell of a lot of interest in doing that podcast of how to file a mining claim.
Yeah, we.
I know James has seen a lot of that stuff. Yeah. I've seen him on my posts.
Yeah, we actually right over at PB, I shared your post and we got a massive response on it, and we got a lot of really awesome guys on board for that. With how to file a mining claim, prospecting, looking all that whole situation over. Robert over in Libby, he wants to be a part of it. He wants to talk about how to file a hard rock mining claim, and we got a couple of other guys back east. So yeah, I think it'd be a freaking phenomenal thing to start. I mean, it's as soon as you want to press the gas pedal, brother, we're in there like swimwear. So
let's do it right after the first of the year. We'll work on that. But what we should do is do a quick conference call, and I'm thinking maybe you and James and myself and Jerry, because Jerry's going to need to be on there because he's going to run through all the MLRS bullshit from BLM. And anyway, we'll sort that out. But I'm thinking in January. I just got the dozer fired up. And anyway, it's kind of funny. This dozer's so old. We're going to use that to kind of expose the hanging wall out at the mine for the mine owner. And anyway, these things, this thing's made in 1955. It's like really, really old, and you can't get parts for them anymore and all this. So I'm looking for this frickin' bushing for this sprocket that it's a pony motor that starts the diesel motor. It takes 2 motors to start the damn dozer. But anyway, can't find it. Caterpillar discontinued the parts like 30 years ago. So I'm looking everywhere. I find in my hometown here, a guy that I know actually has a precision meat machining company and made the part in like one day.
Holy shit.
So we're all good. Yeah. So I think maybe Lisa and I may run up there with parts and in the snow on Saturday on Christmas and fire her up. And it'll be fun. But I need a dozer operator, Brian.
Yeah.
Hey, that's now his 7th job offer.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna buy an excavator.
I know
cool.
I want a dozer as well.
You gonna get an excavator?
Yeah, I'm looking at buying some land up in Maine, and I'm gonna get an excavator and make like driveways and like little areas to make camps and stuff. And up in Maine, there's no laws, rules, regulations. It's all like unorganized territory. And you could take that thing right in the stream and freaking dig out the stream and
nice.
Make your own ponds.
Wild West over there.
I guess.
It's called unorganized territory. There's like it's wild. Yeah, there's nothing. There's just woods. So
you can't get away with that shit here,
Yeah.
No, we're looking at
Shannon's gonna have to figure out his lawn mowing and weed whacking situation here soon, huh, Shannon?
It's astounding, man. Yeah, so whatever, Newsom. F off.
Right. Yeah. I hear you there.
Well, anyway, guys, I got to bail. I've actually am making my wife her. I don't know if you guys know that I went to culinary school for a while, and so I do a lot of baking. No, I don't have a freaking apron.
It looks like an apron. I mean, does it say "kiss the chef"? Is that what it says?
Encourage
Does it say "kiss the chef"? I think it says "kiss the chef."
My fucking wife is encouraging me right now. No, but do you want the cheesecake or not? See, there it
She
is.
wants the cheesecake, yeah.
So no,
Oh,
I'm making this really cool. It's a tart lemon cheesecake with a raspberry cranberry compote on top. That's just freaking phenomenal. And it's only got about 7 minutes left before I got to pull it. So anyway, I just wanted to come in and say hey to everybody, and especially to my little buddy Bryan there.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's his show, and I don't want to intrude here. Actually, I just don't give a shit. But anyway.
Come on, let's be honest here.
No, I love you guys. Hey, man, I hope you guys all have a very, very Merry Christmas, and
yeah, you
it's
too,
sure
brother.
nice to see you guys, you know.
Yeah, you too, brother.
Hopefully we'll see you in Arizona.
Yes, you will see me in Arizona, bro, but you need to come up here at least for a couple of days. And at some point over the next year, because what we're going to do, and I'm not going to say on live on the air here, but I'll tell you offline, and you're just so what?
Look at this guy.
We got some things that we figured out that is just, it's pretty remarkable. So I'm actually really excited about this. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna probably do some videos and stuff, dude.
Oh, jeez, Louise! Holy shit!
This is all dredging.
Holy shit!
Are we showing gold for him?
Holy shit!
This is all gold that I found. I found every single piece. Most of it's
Holy
actually in New England.
Wow, that's pretty damn nice stuff. There's some big chunkies in there.
That's why he's getting an excavator this year. That's why, Shannon.
Maybe I'll have to come over there. I got a brand new dry suit,
Where's
man.
my dredge over there, man?
Anyway, guys, hey, I'm going to cut out, but it was good to see you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Bro, reach out to me right after the first of the year, and James, have a good Christmas, bro.
Sounds good, brother. We'll talk to you later.
All right, peace. See you.
All right. Well, that was awesome to have Mr. Shannon jump in. I
love
figured.
it when that guy jumps in. Don't you just love it when
Absolutely.
that guy comes out of nowhere and just like,
Yeah, he is something else. I love that guy. We're actually
hell yeah, man.
so the beginning of
Probably
next
speed
year.
dial, right? I got
Yeah,
the
so-
speed dial.
So next year we're planning a road trip, Bryan. We're gonna do a multi-state road trip. We're gonna go meet a bunch of folks. I think our second to last. It's supposed to be a surprise, James. But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna go through Oregon, California, Idaho, Nevada, a few other places. Our second stop's gonna be the western side of Washington. Go meet up with a bunch of cool guys over there. But aside from all that, Shannon, thanks, buddy.
Dude.
Yeah, let me know. When's that going? Is that going on for the summer?
Yeah, so we are going to be doing a series where we're going to be live streaming all the locations, or majority of the locations that we go on. We're going to go make it down to, like I said, down to California, meet up with Dave Arabioff and Shannon, hit up Nevada. We got a couple of really good guys over there to go have some fun with. Go to the lower part of Idaho, Twin Falls, Idaho City area. Yeah, so it should be a lot of fun. We're going to do, it's like a 9-day road trip, so it should be a fun freaking time, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break. We'll come back, and then the second part of the podcast, I'd love to talk about the types of equipment you use for cleanup, the biggest cleanup, and a few other questions. I don't want to spoil all the goodies just yet. So let's go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break. That way we can go and use the restroom, grab something to drink, and we'll go ahead and be right back. Sound good?
Yeah, great.
Don't
All right,
away,
guys.
everybody.
All right, stay tuned, everybody. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the second part of Digging Deeper with Mr. Bryan Wilder. All right, hopefully everybody had enough time to go ahead and grab themselves something to drink, maybe use the bathroom a little bit. Oh, James put on a different shirt. Oh, shit. What does that say here? It's okay if you don't like gold panning.
It's okay if you don't like gold panning. It's kind of a smart people activity anyway.
I think I'd change the word smart and put something else, maybe like eccentric or oh, holy hell. All right, so second part of the podcast, we want to touch bases on Mr. Bryan's adventure over there in the Bering Sea. First and foremost, that I really, really wanted to ask, and I've seen it in a few of the comments here, was when you first got over there, I mean, how could I put this question? When you first got over there, what were you expecting to happen? What were your expectations? Were they really high, really low, kind of, you know what, we'll see what happens? Yeah, what were your expectations when you were on your way over there?
Yeah, actually, kind of crazy story. So when Vernon called me, this is just the height of the COVID crap, right? So all of a sudden I got this phone call from Vernon. We're talking, and he needs divers, you know. So he's like, yeah, we talked for a while, and when we were talking, not one mention about TV. He just said nothing about TV or anything like that. And I didn't feel like asking either, because we were just talking about like real hardcore dredging and expectations and all blah blah blah. And so he didn't mention anything about it. And I knew when Fred Hurt called me, there was all these Zoom meetings, and I was talking to the executive producer of Whitewater, Gold Rush Whitewater. All these. I had like 3 or 4 Zoom meetings and all this crap, and I was talking to all the other cast members like Casey Morgan and a couple of the other guys. I forget their names.
Right.
Now. But yeah, we're like Facebook talking and all this about So I kind of like knew a little bit about the TV thing, what was going on. But when Vernon called me, there was no mention whatsoever about TV, no contracts, no nothing. So I just figured to myself, like I said, I don't want to ask. So I'm like, oh, damn, it's COVID. I'm sure the whole thing's off this year. Maybe
right.
The TVs couldn't get up there on the airplanes, and they're not doing, they're not filming this year or whatever. So that's why he needs dredgers, is because his TV dredgers got laid off or whatever.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's where we kind of left it as just come on up and dredge. So after you're done with the
so you were excited to get up there.
Like a rude awakening is coming.
So I was totally expecting just go there and dredge, like get off the plane and just dredge, blah blah blah. And so I finished a month. First I was in Chicken, Alaska, and there's no communication. There's no cell phone, there's no internet, there's no absolutely nothing. So I didn't know anything for like the first month.
Wow.
And I already so the day I got back into civilization after Chicken was grab a plane. First thing, as soon as they dropped me off, I grabbed a plane to Nome, and boom, I got the plane, finished up Chicken, got the plane, flew to Nome, got off the plane, and freaking these vans pulled up like Bryan Wilder, and I'm like, yeah, I'm over here.
Yeah.
And this guy came out, he's freaking shoving microphones on me, and all these cameras started pouring out, and all these guys are like, hey, yelling at all the people in the airport, like, step aside unless you got to do this. They're like, this whole crew came, I'm like, get out of the shot, get out of this. And they started filming all this. I'm like, holy shit.
You instantly felt famous.
Did not expect that whatsoever. And I mean, I knew Vernon did TV, but honest to God, I thought he would have told me all about it and, what to expect and all these contracts.
Have you busted his balls about it yet?
No, not really, because I've seen other people come, and he doesn't do that to the other people either. So I guess that's just his thing, I guess. I mean, I totally would have expected it if it wasn't for COVID, because like I said, I thought it was all. I would have expected him to talk all about TV and all this.
Right.
He didn't. So, and it comes down to when I'm working with Vern, he totally doesn't really even care about any of the TV shit. Like he's actually like trying to get gold and all this crap. Oh, and the TV is just a fucking like bother to him. He doesn't even like acknowledge it, or like he does just whatever with the TV thing. So Like he's not one of those people. Oh, I'm on TV, all that.
Right,
crap.
right. Gloats and does that whole thing.
So, I
yeah.
mean, during our whole conversation, we never mentioned anything about it. It was crazy. So when I showed up, I just didn't expect it because, like I said, I thought everyone was not fired, but like not doing the TV thing this year because COVID was like it was at the total peak of the brand new COVID thing.
Wow.
So so that was my first impression of going up in Nome. So it was just unexpected.
Jeez. So you got over there, and so you got over there. You got all the paparazzi on you.
Right.
You're getting to the point where you're like, "Holy shit, this is absolutely insane."
Right.
When did it get to a point where you're like, "Okay, I got to get away from this because it's overwhelming"?
Well, I mean, it wasn't over. Well, I mean, it was a little bit. It was fun though. It was exciting. Like I've never met like all these people, like Sean Pomeranke and the Kellys and Emily and all that. So I was all ready to join in and see all the action and the fun. So I'm like, oh shit, this is cool because like if you go to the grocery store, there's Emily. She's just got a shopping cart. She's getting her groceries. The old man Sean Pomeranke. I sat at the bar and he just sits right next to me, like it's I mean, it's like
just like it's normal.
It's not like I'm going up to him. I'm sitting at the bar and boom, he sat right next to me and like he just ordered a drink. I'm like, oh hey man, what's going on? It's just
wow,
that's their normal day lives. It's just kind of cool. So all the action and all the suspense. It was really cool seeing everyone because I grew up watching the show and everything. And when I went there, I honestly had no expectation to be on the show. I figured maybe if I did a really good job that first year, that the COVID thing would lifted and maybe I could be on.
Maybe they'd put you on,
later on or something like that. Because like with the whole Whitewater thing, like I'm saying, I did all these. I talked to Fred about all the stuff that I have to do and all this commitment and contract and all this BS. The pay, we went through paychecks, we went through like everything that we're gonna be doing, and when I went there was none of that. So the difference is on Bering Sea Gold, it's really honestly 99% true of like what they do. Like they don't. There's no script every day. There's no. They don't tell you what to say or what to do. They're really there to film you every day.
When you're doing your thing.
So there's really no need for like all this like BS like saying you're on TV or whatever because they're really
creating drama
honest
for TV.
Right. So when I showed up, it was my honest response of not like I didn't know anything. It was a real honest like oh shit,
God, I would have wished that someone had freaking filmed that. Him at the airport and his face turned pure fucking red. His face turned pure fucking red when everybody just swarmed his ass.
I think
that was cool. They didn't put it on. I don't know why they didn't put it on, but I wish they did because it was cool because like everyone had all these masks on and I'm not a fucking mask. I could care less. So I mean, I came through the airport with I was the only one. I just took freaking. I had it on the airplane. Actually, I got in trouble. Took it off a couple times. But when I came out, when they all started filming everything, I didn't even have the mask on, so it was kind of cool. Kind of like a badass,
Man,
they did the whole arrival and all this time, but it didn't make that first season when I was on. I don't know why, but
Wow, that's awesome, man. I mean, the whole journey from where you were to where you're at now is just absolutely phenomenal. And like me personally, sitting back, being able to interview you and really get down to earth with you on all your journeys and travels that you've been through is fucking crazy, man. So my hat is absolutely off to you, man. I mean, making that plunge and that dive to do what you're doing now is just fucking crazy. And like you said earlier, man, hard work pays off. Dedication first and foremost, and hard work pays off, man. I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal, dude.
Just don't be a dumbass. You just got to, do your thing, work hard, and let people notice you. And not like with the TV thing. Like I didn't push Vern. Oh, what's with the TV? Can I get on TV? Blah blah blah. Because like a lot of people do that, and the people that do that, they're like, get out of here. Vern doesn't. Just don't. Just be yourself.
Do your job.
Hard worker. Don't tell people I'm a super hard worker. Because as soon as you say that, people are like, everyone says that. Everyone says you're super. Just show yourself, just don't be a dumbass, don't be a jerk, just do your work. Don't be told what to do, just kind of know what you're supposed to do and not be told, just go do it,
Right.
You gotta have smarts,
and it takes a special kind of person, like we were talking about earlier, it takes a crazy person to dive 25 to 30 feet to do that. But you really have to have a passion for it, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you have so many different things going on in your specific world where you're flying over there, you're getting ready to get all the gear on. You have all these different freaking cameras on you, and all you want to do when you get out there is dredge and get the gold. At the end of the day, that's what the goal is to dredge. You know what I mean? And I think that's where your focus from the beginning of you landing to you being on Vern's team has been at from A to Z is just freaking dredging. This is what I want to do. This is what I have a passion for. And, you know, it's worked out phenomenal for you, you know, from doing it on a weekend all the way up to now you're on Vern's fucking team, dredging 20 to 25 feet deep, man. I mean, hard work shows itself, dedication shows itself. And, you know, the proof is in the pudding. That's just what it is. You know, you see a lot of other different shows that you can tell they're doing the drama and the this and the that for the views, you know, and they're purposely pulling this line or that line or unscrewing this or that. But it's like, you know, with what you're doing, you're like, what do I have to gain? I'm not gaining anything. What I do gain is by me doing my job.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's what you're out there for, is to do your fucking job. You're not out there for views. Nobody asked you, hey, Bryan, we need some views. We need this. No. And just like you said, you know, Vern didn't tell you jack shit about the camera crew. So he wanted you to come in to Nome with a whole different perspective, a perspective of a job, a career, something that needs to get done.
Not to come
instead
be some
of
star of a TV show.
Yeah, man. Exactly. So, I mean, with that being said, holy shit.
That's the only way I'd want to find out. I wouldn't want to know that I got a camera crew coming up to me the moment I get off an airplane. That would make me too damn nervous. I would be like, the whole airplane ride would be.
You wouldn't be complacent. Yeah, you wouldn't be complacent with what's going on.
It would be easier in a way. Oh, Bryan's here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
James is here.
Yeah, exactly.
I would handle that much better than like taking that airplane. There's some turbulence. Stomach's already going. I got a crew. No thanks, man. That would
wearing your face mask. Yeah.
No, wild ride, crazy. Just the last 2 years I'm there, it's just crazy. You know, I was just going from this little 4-inch dredge in the middle of Maine woods or something, and then now you look around and I'm on like one of the big boats up in Nome, and just looking in the harbor, there's millions and millions of dollars worth of dredges and equipment and excavators, wash plants, and I'm like, wow, it's like, you know, and I lived in the harbor, like I was watching all the action. You know, there's just drones all over the place and camera guys. It's just crazy up there.
No, I mean, I think out of a lot of the folks that I've seen on that show and a lot of guys that are on YouTube that are up there, you handle all that crap quite well, man, with the camera and the TV and the this and the that. You know, you're just yourself, and you don't see that. You don't see that very often, man. I mean, let's be honest here. The cameras and the this and the that, you know, kind of, it kind of changes a person. It really it has its way of changing a person, right? And on the 4th, 5th, or 6th season, this person that you saw the first season is a completely different person 6th or 7th season.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, the cameras change a person, but you getting up there, I mean, with the first season, man, I mean, you've just been killing it. Absolutely killing it. Just keep doing what you're doing. And like Vern says, well, the hell with the fucking cameras.
Right.
Because,
yeah, he doesn't care anything about that. Everything's just natural and true, and you know, none of it's. But yeah, no, I have seen the cameras like change people. Like some people are just so into it, and they're like, "Oh, I'm on TV. Come
big time."
Just
big time.
Know, for me, it's just whatever. You know, it's fun. It's a pain in the ass, but
oh yeah, no, definitely
it didn't change me. I mean, I'm just being myself, doing my thing. I mean, I'm just there to dredge. Just go get gold, you know.
Oh yeah, Yeah, no, definitely. So with that same subject, we're kind of talking about the questions I wanted to ask you before the break. One of those would be the type of equipment. I forgot to ask about this beforehand. Before we got on to the Bering Sea Gold adventure, show, so on and so forth. With the dredging equipment you used, was it a Proline? Was it when you bought your 4-inch? Is there any recommendations that you have that you would say that would work better than this or better than that? And you don't necessarily have to say name brands or anything like that if you don't want to. Me personally, we say whatever the hell we want to say on the podcast because at the end of the day,
right?
Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's a tomato thing. I value everybody getting out into a creek. I value everybody getting out into a river. So if this person uses this over this, well, then so be it, tomato. So with that being said, is there any type of specific equipment that you would prefer to use as far as benefits, pros and cons, maybe, 4-inch all the way up?
Yeah, so well, I guess just starting at like 4-inch dredges. There's a whole bunch of stuff below that, and of course above that or whatever. But if 90% of the people here probably just do dredging on the weekend or whatever.
Right.
Both Proline and Keen, those are your two biggest dredges. There's Dulky too, which I've seen a lot of Dulkies.
Yeah.
So Dulkies are really great for lightweight. They're like super lightweight. They work pretty damn good. There's pros and cons, but that's kind of the lower thing. But I have some people that use Dulkies and they're great. Keens and Prolines, they're great. I bought a Keen, my first thing. I mean, I really didn't know all the brands when I first bought it or whatever. I just happened to come across one and I bought a Keen 4-inch. And they're fantastic. They're great. No problems whatsoever. And then there's Proline. Proline is just more heavy duty. It's not that it catches more gold than a Keen or whatever.
Right.
But if you're doing it more like Keen's great for like weekend warriors. I mean, you're gonna have no problems. Blah blah blah. Both Proline and Keen use the same motor, which is a Honda. What was it? 2.6. 260 or 6.5 horsepower with a 200 GX 200. So they both use the Honda motors. They both have pretty damn good pumps. There's no pros or cons about the pumps. They're both running great, and the hoses and blah blah blah. But the Proline pontoons are much more heavy duty, which means they're heavier.
Built to last.
Right, they're built to last. The sluice box is much more heavy. My buddy Alex, so we dredge together. My buddy Alex, he has got a Proline. I got a Keen. I would rather have a Proline just because
because you do it more often.
You do it more often. You do it a lot longer than just the weekend. So, right. But they're more expensive. But you're paying for that thicker plastic. You're paying for the thicker metal in the sluice box. You're
paying for durability.
Right. It's just more durable. It doesn't catch more gold than mine. It just it's more heavy duty. That's all. Right. If I can get a Proline, I would rather have a Proline than the Keen just because of the heavy duty aspect. But it's heavier. But they're made like if you go for somewhere for 2 weeks is usually what we do. We go somewhere. We're gonna set up for 2 weeks. So we set up zip lines. We set up all this. We set up this whole freaking thing where we zip line and everything down to where we're going. So we're not just there for the weekend. But that being said, my Keens never give me a problem. Like the pontoons still work. They haven't broke or nothing. They're just flimsier. I don't know. They're both great.
It boils down to durability between the two. Proline is more for if you're making it more of a career type aspect or almost a full-time job aspect. It's going to outlast indefinitely. Keen, it's cheaper, and you're more likely to take it out on the weekends or take it for a 4-day trip or whatever. So at the end of the day, everybody watching, I hope that was some useful tips for you guys. We have so many different people that jump on Prospecting Buddy and they're like, hey, I want to get into dredging. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like, well, jump on the podcast, check the podcast out. We have tons of different information. Ask away, because at the end of the day, it's not about which one catches more gold, because anybody can change the mats out. Anybody can change this, that, and the other and customize it to their liking. But it boils down to durability. So the
Proline is definitely more durable than the Keen, brand new, whatever. But they both catch gold. I mean, Then again, with the mats, like, so when people get their dredge, they usually throw all the mats out and blah, blah, blah. As far as mats, I mean, dredging mats there's a difference when you use mats for sluice boxes versus like dredges,
Oh, it's a night and day difference for sure. And
different, like all these dream mats and all that stuff, they might work great in like a sluice box.
Yeah.
But they're not really made to work in like dredges, like hog mats and stuff. They're probably fantastic in, your average sluice box, but
right.
You can't just beat like the old fashioned. In mine, the way I like to run mine, just because of the material that I have, we don't have baby, powder gold or whatever. We got bigger pieces, like I showed you, like all this. This is all the kind of gold that we find. It's all big, chunky stuff.
Oh man, that's what you want right there. Is that chunky stuff?
Right.
Yeah.
So when I'm running, the gold that I'm getting in my area is more chunky. There's not much fine gold or whatever. So I like using that vortex mat. That vortex mat will grab, the bigger stuff will lay right on top of that mat. So I got a foot of vortex mat in my dredge with nothing, just a punch plate over it. I think it's 3/8 punch plate. And there's just vortex mat for the first foot of my box. And that's where I catch 95% of the gold. There's no riffles. There's no other mats. It's just a vortex mat, and it holds that big gold. Yeah. Because it's in my area. And then from there, I just have the traditional miner's moss over green carpet and riffles going down, with 3/8 screen above that. And the last 3 riffles are open to try to catch nuggets. And that works absolutely fantastic for me. But if I was in a situation where I only had like beach gold, like super, super baby fine powder gold, maybe I would try something different, it all depends. My setup works great for me where I am,
well, and that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. And we try to, it's funny because we talk about the fine gray line that a prospecting buddy tries to stay on. And I mean, we're going to fight to the damn finish to stay on that gray line, because at the end of the day, it's all personal preference. Like you just said, it's the type of material you have in your area is going to determine what works best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if I take my setup and I go to Nome Beach, I'm going to lose every single piece of gold. I'm not going to catch nothing. And, people are going to yell at me and make fun of me, blah, blah, blah. It's just, so the Nome guy has a completely different setup. So he's going to be swear true to his Miracle mat, because that's what works great on the beach.
Right.
Keen Miracle mat works awesome for that really small baby Nome beach gold,
Yeah.
But if I use that where I am, I'm going to be, this is stupid. I'm losing all my damn gold. The mats are washing out, it's crazy. And vice versa. If I bring my, so you got 2 people in 2 completely different scenarios. And of course they're going to say, oh, your mat sucks. Your mat sucks. It just depends on where you are. You got to adapt to where you are. You can't just use one mat or one box thing. Like up in Nome and Dredge in the Ocean, they're just much bigger machines up there. And there you don't really run mats. You run like expanded metal over, miner's moss. And that works great for those big, huge machines and everything.
So my next question would be, I know you've done, you spent quite a bit of time over there. Has any of the guys over there attempted to try different things, or are they just tried and true kind of deal with what they got going on?
No, completely different. So one of the last weeks I was up in Nome, I went over to Sean Pomranke's excavator dredge, the Myrtle Irene there.
Yeah.
So I looked in the sluice box quick because he parked right next to us. So I'm looking over. I'm like, hey, how'd you guys do? I'm like, oh damn, you got because like I'm saying, most people use expanded metal. So he switched back over to riffles in the sluice box. I'm like, oh dude,
wow.
He's like, yeah, trying it out. So even people like Sean Pomranke, they're trying different things and
different techniques.
And when I first got to Nome this year, so they took our sluice box. We had a regular Keen box, so it was an over and under.
Yeah.
There's 2 sluice boxes in it.
Yeah.
And over the ice season, they changed it to just a single run box. They took the upper section out and expanded.
Just a flat run box. Yeah.
They put 4 feet more onto it, and then over the winter they washed out all the gold. They didn't.
Holy shit!
Ton of gold because they switched it, right? So then when I got there this summer to do the summer season, Vernon was like, oh, we're losing a lot of our gold last year. We're going to turn it back into the over and under. But I don't know, all the parts and pieces got lost, whatever. So we had to remake everything.
Right.
And,
but it's all a testing thing, every once in a while when you have a profitable season, Testing is key. And I obviously know all these guys already know this. They've been doing this since I was in fucking diapers. But, at the end of the day, it's a whole testing phase. It's a testing experience. Palm ranking, changing it up. Yeah.
They're always, testing and trying different crap. But like I was saying, up there, like, they got some of these dredges, the sluice boxes are 10 feet long, like all the people on Gold Rush, they all use with those big, huge boxes. They just use really long runs, and they just use the expanded metal. I mean, you can't really
expanded metal and miner's moss, and it's only 2.5 feet wide and probably 8 feet long, and they got about 3 channels running or something like that.
Right. I mean that's pretty much good for the bigger guys.
Yeah.
As far as the smaller guys, I mean, just it all depends on your material, who you are,
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm sure all of those guys have tested. I'm sure they didn't just slap something in and call it good. I'm sure they've tested and tested and tested. They probably had guys come out and test for them and try new things and shit like that. But the expanded metal and the miner's moss is just tried and true for those bigger rigs. When you're pushing tons and tons and tons of material, I'm sure it's the tried and true method to catch, to have a good efficiency on the gold you're getting, plain and simple. So
and too, like when you start the bigger guys, I mean, they are getting a ton of gold. I mean, there might be 10, 20, 30 ounces in your sluice box. So the expanded metal gives you lots of chances. Like, your first 2 or 3 feet might be completely packed full of gold, because you're just running a lot of material that has gold in it. So you need that long run to keep catching it. And it's not that it's failing. It's just there's so much gold in it that it takes 6 feet to start catching, or 8 feet or 10 feet,
Yep.
That's another thing you got to think of too. Like once you get into the bigger scenarios, because it's hard to clean out like all the time on those big machines because there's just so much freaking material, and like to clean out takes a day to clean out some of these bigger
Oh
things.
yeah.
Like when I was on the 10-inch dredge in Chicken, that was a whole day process it was a half a day of just cleaning the dredge itself out. It took like 4 or 5 hours just to clean all those mats.
Jesus.
And then you wind up with 10 5-gallon buckets, and then you got to get there's 10, 15 ounces in those buckets, but you got to get it out of those damn buckets. So when you're cleaning out, it takes you off a whole day, which a whole day might cost you 2, 3, 4 ounces in, a place like Chicken where I was.
Oh, yeah.
Like up in Chicken, it's a river operation, so you can run every single damn day. Like, so if you're off a day, you're going to lose a lot of gold.
You're losing money. Yeah.
Up in Nome, it's a little bit different because there's a lot of storms, a lot of ocean conditions, a lot of weather that puts you down. So when you have a bad weather day, you can do your clean out, which kind of saves you because you wouldn't be losing the gold. So, like I said, there's all different types of scenarios and different ways to do stuff and different things that, affect you.
So my next question would be on the same subject. So before you took the job offer, you went up to Nome, and even now that you're in Nome, or you're going up to Nome, excuse me, what kind of cleanup process do you guys kind of deal with? What kind of equipment do you use for your guys' cleanups? And what has worked the most efficiently for you guys as far as cleanup goes?
Yeah. So it's pretty much everywhere where I've been, whether it's Chicken or Nome or even myself, the best way to clean out that I've found, and what everyone else uses, is the gold cube. They'll take all their concentrates and just run them through the gold cube because it's like super easy to use that damn thing.
Right.
Material. The bigger operations will have 4 or 5 stacks on the gold cube.
5 stack, yeah.
It just depends how much gold you get. Like in Chicken, I think we used 4. And during the cleanouts, I mean, we're getting 10 ounces a week. And, the first 3 trays are usually just loaded with gold.
Packed, yeah. I saw one of the videos you had, and it fucking blew my mind, man. There was more gold on there than there was mat.
So in that scenario, you got to run it twice or whatever. But still, the gold cube is pretty damn good for either professional or the weekender. The gold cube,
yeah.
It just takes it can heat a 5-gallon bucket in like 5-10 minutes, and then whether you have 5 buckets or 1 bucket or whatever. So pretty much wherever I go, whether it's myself or professional, whatever, the gold cube is number one. Because they got all those options too, where they have the plate where you don't have to classify it. There's a classified plate,
Yeah.
It renders it down to 1/8. So
Basically like a grizzly, basically almost like a grizzly in effect. Yeah.
Yeah, because the gold cube can't take anything over 1/8 screen. So anything over an eighth, you got a pan if you're in an area that's got nuggets. So yeah, you put it on there, it goes through, and it's pretty damn quick. And then from there, you rinse all your mats out of the gold cube, and then in Nome and in Chicken, same place, we use the Keen Miracle sluice cleanup. It's like a little cleanup sluice. Yeah, I don't know. It's like 4 feet long or whatever. It's got the Miracle mat in it.
Yeah.
And so your cons from the dredge from the gold cube is you get about a cup per tray or whatever, And so if you have a 4-stack, you get 4 cups of material. You take that material and then you put it on. I think we're using a 50 screen. So you take that 4 cups of material, put it on a 50 screen. Anything above that 50, you'll pan out. Anything below the 50, you put in the Miracle sluice.
Oh.
And then on the Miracle sluice, sometimes I will the Miracle sluice holds maybe 5-6 ounces of gold. So if you got like a 10-ounce cleanup, you'll just pack that fucking thing full of gold.
Yeah.
You gotta run that 2 or 3 times, but that's a good thing. I mean, if it's loaded with gold, it doesn't matter if you gotta do 2 or 3 times,
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So I mean, it doesn't take long. You put it in there, and then you just take the cons from that thing, and then that's you'll do your final just pan. I mean, we'll just all sit around the campfire, and no matter what you do, you got a pan in the end result, no matter professionally or hobbyist. It all comes down when you're done. You got a pan, and you just sit there for a couple of hours, and you pan back and forth by the campfire, hang out, have a few drinks, tap tap tap. You take a snuffer, you suck it up.
Oh fuck yeah! This
we'll
fucker.
have like 3 or 4 guys doing it, and we'll sit around the campfire, do all that, and then we just put all the snuffers together, and then do one final clean, try to get some of that black sand out, and then just fry it up on the stove, put it in the pan,
dry her out. Yep.
Put it on the scale, weigh it up, and it's payday.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, this fucker in the middle of the screen. Every time I go over there, he goes, "Hey, man, you're quicker at panning finishing pan than I am." And at first, I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'll do it." And then 45 minutes later, I'm like, "Wait, hold the fuck on. Why out of 5 or 6 guys am I the only fucker doing this?"
Like I said, it probably takes 3 hours. Like if you have like a 10-ounce cleanup, it'll take like 3-4 hours with 3 or 4 people doing it. It takes a long damn time to get it. Yeah. You got to get it super clean, or else a gold buyer won't take it. It'd be like, there's too much black sand in it. I mean,
I'm happy with 45 minutes. I'll leave you with your 3 hours.
No, we're gonna get to 3 hours, buddy.
Some of the bigger guys like Sean Palmer, he's got that big gold wheel. That thing works really good too.
Yeah.
We had a smaller one. I couldn't get it to work. All the tubes are bent and shit. So
right.
I just went to what we usually do. But some of the bigger guys, they got that big gold wheel. There's shaker tables too you could use if you're on really fine small gold. That definitely helps. They had one up in Chicken, but we didn't use it. It's just the gold cube and that Miracle sluice worked better than anything else, really.
And that's the thing is we had Mike Pung on one of our podcast episodes, and we were talking to him about the gold cube and how he invented it and kind of the idea behind it. And it was actually pretty funny because I don't know if you knew, but the way that he invented it was actually him shaving the shit out of wood slats and actually going to town doing the design of the gold cube with pieces of wood. Yep. And he had saw on a horse trailer some carpet that was on the back of the door of the horse trailer and was like, shit, that'll work. And so he went and bought some, put that in the gold cube, and sure as shit, it worked absolutely phenomenal for the gold cube. So my next question would be, with the gold cube that you guys use, did you ever change out any of the mats to a personal preference mat, or did you just leave it stock and run it through that?
No, I just leave it stock. Up in Chicken, they did try a couple different things. They had like one mat that you put in the slick plate. Just to try it, and it wound up just not working out. Whatever. So we just leave the slick plate as a slick plate.
Right.
That Vortex mat is fine. It's just there's just thousands and thousands of little holes that capture gold. I mean,
Right.
I mean, gold's heavy. I mean, it's just going to go to the bottom of those little cells. I mean,
Yep.
you know, gold cube's fine, especially for like weekend guys. You know, I mean, you're not going to have any problem with gold cube. Even like I said, even all the bigger guys, when I go to chicken, when I went to Nome, everyone just used gold cubes.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's
Mike
cool.
Pung, I don't know if you're watching, brother, but I'm getting me a gold cube. That way, this road trip coming up this spring and this summer, when we're at all these different places, I'm going to do some videos with using that damn thing. So if you're watching or if you see this, Mike, I'm going to be placing an order, buddy.
No, they're great. They work great. The only problem is, like I said, usually now I kind of switch to doing my cleanouts by using the Angus McCurk, because if you're
Right.
far away from your camp, like when I'm doing this as a weekend warrior kind of thing, I'm down into a valley that's my camp's way up on top. I got to hike way up the mountain and go back
Right.
to my camp where all my stuff is, and I can't carry buckets of material with me. So, like I said, I'll use like the Angus McCurk. I'll do my clean out. My dredge is completely clean. There's no mats in it or whatever. I'll put the Angus McCurk inside my dredge and then restart the dreads. Just put it
Right.
on idle, so you got this perfect flow going through.
Yeah.
And I'll take all my dredge concentrates, put it through the Angus, and then from the Angus, you only wind up with a couple cups of material, like as if you were using the gold.
Holy
cube,
shit.
you know?
Wow, that's a
From
freaking.
there. I don't have the miracle sluice thing. It just doesn't work for me. So from there, I'll usually just pan out that material. I'll put it through a screen. Anything above the 30, I'll pan out the big stuff, and then pan out stuff, and then. But like I said, I'm in an area that has a lot of bigger gold, so pretty much.
That's awesome. Wow, that is a phenomenal freaking idea for anybody watching. Yeah, the Angus McCurk with the proper flow. Yeah, that's freaking. If you're in a deep valley and something, you know, in that type of situation, that's the way to go. That's for sure. Instead of bringing a battery with you or anything else, you know, you get down in there and now that's awesome. So I have just a few more questions for you, Bryan. So bear with me, buddy. The one of the questions that I have is before you went to Nome, Alaska, before you started Bering Sea Gold and diving and all that good stuff, when you were doing it on the weekends, what was your biggest cleanup for your weekends? Like before Nome, before the whole gold show, what was something that you were jumping up doing the freaking jig for? What was your biggest cleanup that you've had, brother?
Yeah, just on my own before I started doing all the big stuff. I've had probably 10 gram days, which were, great.
Holy shit.
For New England, I mean, that's pretty good. I forget the exact amounts, but right around 10 or 11 grams for the day. Happened to me 3 times. And actually, one of them was because I found this is a 9.2. Let's see.
Holy fuck.
9.6 is this? Let's see. Yeah, this is the biggest one that I found. I found a couple years ago. This one here is
holy shit.
9.
Look at that beast. Jeez, man.
That's my biggest one. And yeah, I found that in New England. This is New England gold. And then this one's an 8.2 is this is my third biggest.
Damn, dude. You're making me so jelly right now, bro. Holy shit.
And that was this New England.
This spring.
Actually, all the big gold that I found was all in New England. This was my first big nugget I ever got. I think it was like 2016. And this one here this is 9.2.
That's freaking
New Hampshire at the Wild Amasumic River on the Twin River Campground, actually.
Those need to be necklace jewelry quality pieces, man. Seriously.
But I mean, seriously. I got tons and tons of like half grammars and 1 grammars, like this one. These are all like little pickers and
wow, holy shit! He's making me jealous. The only guy that I got to my name right now, Bryan, is this guy right here. That's the only guy that I got to my.
Mine's the same, and it's off my metal detecting kit.
Oh wow! Look at that, guys. Holy moly, man! That is just absolutely phenomenal. All different mesh sizes. Holy shit!
All in the back here, these are all like all the fine gold. So they're all, like, loaded with fine gold. So I got all my fine.
That's not even fine gold. That's like pieces of rice, bro. Come on. Holy shit.
Yeah,
that is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Well, I keep all the gold that I find.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this is all the gold that I found before I started going to Nome or Chicken. So this is all the gold that I found just doing weekend warrior kind of stuff,
Wow.
I mean, anyone can go out and find it. You just got to be in a good spot, right? And
do
just
your
work
research.
Right.
If you want to do it right, I seen like 80% of the people, they just go out there and they long arm. Just do it right. Get your wetsuit on, get your mask on, and go in the water, because you can see a lot better when you're in the water. You're dredging. You can move rocks a lot faster. You'll pump a lot more material through your dredge, and get down to the bottom. Whether it's bedrock, whether it's clay, just get wet. Fucking go in there, get wet,
Hard work,
and just work your ass off. Get into that bedrock, break it. You got to break it. You can't really break the bedrock if you're just long arming and not getting yourself wet.
You're just basically vacuuming the surface. Yeah.
I mean, all these big pieces, 80% of them are in the bedrock. They're in the bed. You got to take a crowbar, get in there. Like, it's not just dredging. You got to get inside those cracks in the bedrock. Like, usually we'll get big bars and we break the bedrock, and then you get down like a foot into that bedrock. And that's when you start seeing your damn nuggets. They're all down, way down into the bedrock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You got to get down. I mean, every place is different. There's bedrock, there's clay, there's, the ocean. It's all different, but
work your ass off.
This river gold's big. Like, here's some Nome gold. This Nome gold is, it's all really fine. As you notice, there's no nuggets.
A long way.
There's no nuggets at all. The biggest one I found in Nome was like maybe a half grammer. The 2 years that I've been up there dredging my ass off.
And gets speed up. I mean,
in the ocean, it's all fine. It's all it's all super fine gold like that. There's not much nuggets in the. I mean, they do find some here and there, but it's rare.
It's very rare. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, the last question of the night, brother man, and I did not say anything about this question. With us bullshitting with each other before the podcast, so I hope you're ready for this. Is there anything exciting for us to look forward to for next season, for you getting up there in Nome? Is there any we don't want any spoilers, because of course it'll ruin an episode, but is there anything that you could tell us, kind of a little bit of some goodies happening next season?
Yeah. So the Bering Sea Gold for next season, one of the, I guess, most exciting thing for us, which is like a little bit different than doesn't normally happen, was so there was these guys that went up to the bluff. They're not on the TV show, but there's a lot of dredgers up there that aren't on the TV show.
Oh yeah.
So these guys, they went out and they're just hardcore miners. They're doing their thing, and then a storm pops in, but they're on some damn good gold. So everyone that goes to the bluff, which is like, I forget what it was, 50, 60 miles away from Nome. So they're on the small little pontoon dredge. They go out there, which a lot of people do, and there's no safe harbor out there. And people sometimes stay a little bit too long than they should.
Oh,
and the storm rolls in, everything gets going, and these are little pontoon dredges, not like big boats or nothing.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 years ago, the same thing happened to another group of guys, and the boat turned over and they died. There was 2 people that died right there, and one guy actually made it to shore alive, but the other 2, they're dead.
Wow.
They just decided to stay just a couple hours too long, and the same thing was happening again. So this year, we got a phone call. One of those guys that was on that dredge was friends with one of our Eskimo kids, not Max, Thomas. Thomas was on our boat. He helps us out. He's a deckhand, and he got a phone call at like 4 a.m. that these guys are in trouble. It was his friend who was out there. They broke their anchor, and they're drifting out to sea. So
shit!
There's no Coast Guard. There's no help.
There's nothing.
I mean, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So they called us. We're like, oh shit, this guy needs help, and no matter who they are, you go and try to help. So we all got in the boat, and the camera guy followed us. And I remember him saying, "Oh, this is going to be a crappy day. I can't believe you guys called me this early, and we're going out. This is going to be stupid, And so looking at the ocean when we left, it was dead calm, like looking out of the harbor. There was like 1-2 foot seas. We're like, oh, okay, we'll go get them, and we'll help these guys out. So we got the anchor ups ready, and when we went out, but like 5 miles out, it started getting really kind of heavily seized.
Whitewater,
where the wind coming, there's like a peninsula that sticks way out from Nome on the other side. So it was all shelter out there. So it looked like calm as hell, no problem. And so we went out 5 miles and, started getting a little bit rougher. And then finally we're trying to find them on the GPS. We didn't know their exact location because the last location we had was at 4 a.m. And we were trying to go out a little bit later, trying to find them. And we're trying to communicate them on the phone. And all hell started breaking loose. And then when we got out, there actually were like, I think it was 10 miles or 11 miles out from Nome, which is like crazy for like our boat, because our boat's not a big rescue boat. Like it has a dredge on the side,
it's not meant for deep sea.
It wasn't meant for these huge waves.
Yeah.
And all hell started to break loose after 10 miles. Like we started getting like 12 footers and the boat's just going crazy. I mean, our engines were almost getting swamped. Freaking water started pouring into our boat. Freaking started electrical fire. The boat started.
Holy shit, bro.
Water pouring in the back. The camera guy was going, dude, there's a fire. Like he put down his damn camera like it would be an emergency fucking situation.
Holy shit.
All the shit started going. The waves are crashing. I mean, this is like a deadliest catch thing now. I mean, we were not supposed to be. We
out there that far, no.
And we found these guys. Finally, we found them. It was hard to find it, but we found them, and there's no way in hell we could tow them back. So these guys were dead in the water because their engine's swamped. When the waves get that bad, when you go up like this, your motors go completely under the water.
Under the water, yeah.
It was starting to happen to us, and that's what happened to them. The motors were dead; they couldn't do nothing, and we couldn't get a line to them because it was so rough, and all this shit was happening on our boat. And I mean, we're all busy trying to put out fires, and our boat was damn sinking. Our pontoon crushed in, and our pontoon.
Wow.
We're going to be in the same shape as these guys. So we're like, abandon ship. You got to, hop in and we'll throw you a life ring. We'll pull you in. You got to abandon your ship. And these guys just bought they were new to the scene and they spent like $100,000 and this damn dredge was like 3 months old. And, they took the plunge and they went all in and, invested in the dredge. And they're like, no, we're not abandoning. And we're like, dude, you're going to freaking die out here.
You're going to die.
You got to come. Now's your chance because we got to go back. We're limping back.
Yeah.
And we're almost swamping. They're almost out of water, And it's kind of cool because the camera guy was right there. So they're filming. This is definitely going to make the episode. Anyways, they didn't want to abandon the ship. So we're like, we got to go. So anyway, we went back to harbor because we were like seconds away from dying ourselves. I mean, we're in the same situation. And we had no idea because when we first went out, it was all like dead calm for the first 5 miles.
Right.
Wow. We had no idea. And we came back and we're like, we told everyone. Well, I was on the Coast Guard or the harbor master. I'm locating the ship. So I was looking at my GPS. I was giving the coordinates. And Vern started actually yelling at me about the coordinates because I was reading whatever the GPS said. I don't know if they're going to put this on the TV show, but, it's like 167.83 point blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I guess the last few numbers are like for inches and feet or whatever, which Brandon was like, don't read the last point number. And I didn't understand. I'm reading the fucking all the shit going on. I mean, it was like crazy. And he starts yelling and yelling. I'm like, I'm just reading the fucking GPS number.
The coordinates. Holy shit.
Anyway, I don't know if they're going to show that, but it was a big fucking thing for him.
Wow.
So I gave the coordinates where they were. And then refused to jump overboard or whatever. And then we had it back. We had to. There's nothing we could fucking do. So
what are you guys going to do? Die with them?
Our plans were to throw them a line and hook them and tow them back, but we couldn't do it. Just without their tow force on us, our motors were getting swamped. They're starting to sputter and get swamped. So we had to get out, and there's no way we could have towed them. So we went back to the harbor, and we told everyone what's going on. They're like, it's all hell's breaking loose out there. There's no BS. And no one believed us because when you're looking out the harbor, it's dead calm. It's like
dead calm, yeah.
1 foot like a little waves. So Sean's like, you guys, blah, blah, blah. So Sean Palmeraki went out, and he was going to go get him and tow him in. I'm like, dude, it's not what you think. He only had like this 30-foot like little sport fishing boat that he was going to get him. And our boat was 60 feet long, and we were getting beat to hell.
Oh,
we were trying to tell him, but no one would believe us because it looks like it's calm. But as soon as you get out 10 miles, it was hell. I mean, it was like,
wow.
For real. This is no like drama or made up crap,
No, for real.
And
did they end up getting saved?
Well, that's the thing. So Sean went out there, right? And as soon as Sean got up to the boat and found where he was, he drifted another 2 miles. So, trying to find him was hard.
Holy crap.
And you got these 10, 12-footer waves going up and down. It's hard to find something up there.
Oh, yeah.
But luckily, he got up to him about 100 yards, 200 yards, and their freaking dredge flipped over. So now they're done, and none of them had life jackets on when we saw them, or Mustang jackets. And that water is even in I think we were there. I think it was October. That water is like 30 degrees. If you go in that water, you got 3
don't
minutes.
last long.
Just the same thing that happened the last year. Same freaking exact thing, and those guys died just because they were in the water a couple minutes.
They were ill prepared.
They didn't have the Mustang jackets, and
yep.
All these dredgers, they're like, they're not ready for this kind of crap, So
yeah.
It happens all the time. People die there all the time. But anyways, those guys went in the water and Sean threw them the ring and saved them, but and brought them back. But their dredge was still out there. Actually, I don't know the ending of the story how they got the dredge back, but the dredge kind of like went down into the water like 10 feet and flipped it. But because I think one of the pontoons was still full. Like the next day they went out and they found it. Like they took a helicopter or a plane or something, and they found it. It was still under the water, like 10 feet or whatever. But because one of the pontoons was still full, kind of holding it there.
Yeah.
So they spotted it from the helicopter, but I don't know if they actually got the dredge back. We kind of left at that time, but
jeez, dude, holy.
That doesn't really have too much to do with dredging, but I mean, just because our boat was a dredge and was set up for dredging in the calm days. When we went out there. Oh, and there's so much repercussion from that. Our whole electrical system was messed up. Like I said, we had a fire. It fried my computer. It fried some electrical stuff in our boat. We were trying to use drills and stuff and get electrocuted, so our electrical system was fried. And then we didn't know it, but we went out dredging. So after that storm passed and things went normal, and we went to go dredge again. So we went out to go dredge. We set all the anchors. We set all the equipment. Diver got all ready. We're all ready to get in the water. And we go to start the motor. And we didn't know it at the time, but the motor got freaking swamped with seawater. It was a diesel motor, wouldn't start. Did all this, go out there. Our motor wouldn't start, and it turns out it got waterlocked there because the ocean was so big and spraying water everywhere. It went to the intake. And
right to the pistons. Yeah, it was done.
Right, so we had to go back and hire a diesel mechanic, and he took about the motor and got all the water out, and it was bad.
Nightmare, holy shit!
We didn't know it too. It ripped a patch off our pontoon. Our pontoon filled with water. The boat was like listing, almost sinking in the harbor because the whole thing really messed us up bad.
Holy shit, dude!
That's just one thing that happened. That was an exciting thing that happened. I don't know what they're gonna show or put on the show or whatever. But
holy
that's what really
shit,
happened,
man! That is absolutely insane. I mean, it's not like you're on a fucking lake. It's not like you're on a river. No. You're in a whole different night and day situation. That is wow.
Even Vernon's been through all this all the time, and you could see he was nervous.
He was shook up. Yeah, he was shook up.
Guys, this is serious. This could be it. Like it was serious.
Wow.
Not just because of the ocean, but I mean, the ocean was the big part because, like I said, our motors were getting. When the boat goes like this, the motors are going completely underwater, and if that happens too much, it's going to fill that engine cover and
right through the exhaust and right in.
We're out. I mean, if our motors are dead, we're dead. We're going to flip over.
Yeah. Now you guys are done for. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, shit, Bryan, I appreciate you being on the podcast, brother. I also have something that I want to show everybody that's watching right now. It's right there at the bottom. Right there, go ahead and subscribe to his YouTube channel. He has a bunch of awesome ass videos. I have already, I've spent quite a bit of time before the podcast this evening actually checking out a lot of his videos, and he earned my subscription, so I'm sure he's going to earn a shitload more. That's for damn sure. But Bryan, I appreciate you being on the podcast, brother. I really, really do. Luckily we were able to get you on your off time. Obviously from this podcast, we now know you're a busy freaking dude. Hopefully in the future, man, we can somehow meet up some way along the lines. I'm not going to say a whole lot about our trip. It'll be kind of a surprise announcement. I know, boo-hoo. But we got a lot of different places we're going to go to that I didn't mention. So hopefully, we can probably meet up in the next year and maybe the year after. We'll figure something out, I'm sure. But aside from that, Bryan, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, brother. I hope you have a very good Happy New Year. And hopefully we can get you on another podcast because we'd really, really love to have you on once again, brother.
Yeah, cool. It was fun. Merry Christmas to you guys, and have a good New Year and all that.
No, definitely. And for everybody watching, make sure you get ready for the next season with Bryan. I'm telling you, watch it. It is exciting, fascinating, and if you're locked inside like we all are with wintertime, would be a good time once the season airs to jump on there and check it out. So with that being said, Bryan, be safe, man. Holy shit.
Great having you on the show, Brian.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Merry
Most
Christmas.
definitely.
Happy New Year, man.
Most definitely. Everybody watching, you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Tomorrow we're doing the PB giveaway. Make sure you jump on 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you forget, that's your own fault. I love you guys. Bryan, you have a good evening, and we'll see you all later.
See you tomorrow, people.